Dear students, let us continue our learning the course Data Structures and Applications. We are in the fourth session, part 1 of the module 2. The topics covered under this session are introduction to the recursion and with an example of computing the factorial of a number using a recursion. Myself, Dr. Suresh Adi from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Canara Engineering College, Bantwal, Mangalore. First, what is recursion? Suppose P is a procedure containing either a call statement to itself or a call statement to a second procedure that may eventually call statement back to the original procedure P. Then P is said to be a recursive procedure. Let us take one simple example. Let us assume that we are having a function called ABC over there. So ABC is an user-defined function in the C program. If that function ABC contains one more call to the function ABC, that is the function is calling itself. When a function call itself, then we call it as a direct recursion over here. So in this case, what happened? So we have a function called ABC, and in the coding part of that function ABC, there is a call for the function ABC there again. That is, that function is calling itself. Such an function call will be called as a recursive function call, and it's a direct recursion over here. Now let us take the second example, wherein we have a function called ABC. In the function ABC, we have a function call to a function XYZ. Right? So ABC is our first function. So in the ABC, we are making a function call called XYZ over there. So XYZ is a different function over here. So now in the coding part of the XYZ, we have a function call to the ABC, our main function. That is, ABC is calling XYZ, XYZ is calling ABC. So such an function will be called as an indirect recursion. So that is where the function call is not directly present within the coding part of the same function. Instead, we are calling an other function. That function is calling this function again. So such a function will be your indirect recursion. That is, recursion can be a direct or it can be an indirect. That is, the function call to itself may be present in the same function. Then we call it as a direct recursion, or we are calling some other function that call that function as a call to the calling function again. So such an that is an indirect procedure. So even that will be termed as a recursion over there. Fine. So now I hope it is clear. So now when we have a recursive function, we should ensure that that program will not continue to run indefinitely over there. I have a function ABC, and in that function I am making the call ABC there directly over there. So what happens? It will have an infinite loop. That call will never end. I jump to the function ABC, again I will call the function ABC. That will never end. So we should ensure that such a scenario will not come across in our recursive procedure. We should ensure the things. Right? So that is, a recursive function should satisfy the following two properties. The first one will be there must be a certain criteria called the base criteria, for which the function or the procedure does not call itself. Means that will be your breakpoint. Right? So that is, we should have a breakpoint somewhere in my recursive function, so that on that condition it will halt and it will return some value. So once it returns that value, so that will in turn go to the calling function, and it will somewhere it will terminate the program. Or else what happens? This will continue indefinitely over. That should not happen. Right? In the second case, each time the procedure does call itself, it must go to closer to a base criteria wherein we put our breaking condition over there. Right? So somewhere we need to make the changes to the variables so that it will go and reach to the base criteria. Right? So these 2 points we should ensure present in the recursive procedure. The first point is it should satisfy some criteria called the base criteria for which the function call does not exist. Means that will be a breaking point for that function procedure. Second one, every time we make a call, we should ensure that we are reaching to the base criteria. Somewhere we are making some changes to the calling variables, or what we call the formal parameters, and we are reaching to the base criteria. These two conditions we should satisfy for a recursive procedure. Next, a recursive function. A function is said to be recursively defined if the function definition refers to itself. A recursive function must have the following two properties. The properties are, the first one is there must be certain arguments called the base values for which the function does not refers to itself. That is our first condition. That is, we should have in some point of time the function should end. So that to make that function should end, what we need to ensure? We need to ensure that there are base values for which the function does not refers to itself. Second one, each time the function does refers to itself, the argument of the function must be closer to a base value. These two properties should be there in the recursive function. If these two are missing, then you will end up in an infinite loop, which is not recommended in the programming world. That's why whenever we write the recursive function, we should ensure that the above two properties are well defined over there. If you fail to define these two properties, then your function will end in an infinite loop, which is not preferred in the programming world. Let us take an example of recursive function. So the function for the recursion can be written in both the ways. Either an iterative function can be written, or we can write the recursive function. So now let us look at the equation for the n factorial. What is the equation for the n factorial? 1 star multiplied with 2 star multiplied with 3 star. Keep on going till we multiply the last number is n. That is, for us, we need to decide the breakpoint over here. Now, what is the breaking point for this case? When we reach 0, then the factorial of 0 is 1. That will be our base value over here. That will be our base value. That is the first condition we should ensure. That is, we should ensure that there is a base value in a function. What will be our base value? If n equal to 0, then the factorial of 0 is 1. That is our base value. Then the second case, for all the rest of the cases, suppose I want to find the factorial of 5. How to find that one? 5 multiplied with factorial of 4. Next, 4 multiplied with factorial of 3. Next, 3 multiplied with factorial of 2. So if you make it general, n multiplied with the factorial of n minus 1. So this is how the design of the factorial function should work. That is, each time when we make a function call, we are decrementing the value of n by 1. So that will be your second condition, wherein we every time we reduce the value of n so that we can reach to the base value over there. Let us look how the factorial will be computed using the iterative formula. First case, if n equal to 0, then factorial will be equal to 1 and we are going to return. If not, then we will go to the second line wherein we said the factorial will be equal to 1. That is our initial value. Then for repetition, for k equal to 1 to n, so we multiply k with the fact and we store the result in fact. Let us take the example. Factorial of 3 I want to compute. So how it will be done? K equal to 1 to 3. What is the initial value of k? 1. What is the initial value of fact? 1. So 1 into 1. That will be stored to fact. Now k gets incremented. K is now 2. What is the value of fact? Fact was the 1. 1 into 2. 2 will be stored to the fact. Next k gets incremented. K is now 3. Now what happens? K is 3. 3 into what is the value of fact? 2. K 3 into 2, that is 6. That will be stored to fact. Now once we close our for loop, then we return the fact value. The fact value is 6. So this is how the for loop will compute the factorial of the number. Let us look how the same thing can be performed with the help of the recursive function. So now in the recursive function, we are passing the two arguments over here. One is fact. The initial value of fact will be equal to 1 and the number for which I need to find the factorial. So now how this will work? Let us check. Line 1, that is my base value. What is the base value? If n equal to 0, then set fact equal to 1 and return. Or else it will go to the second line. What is the second line over there? Call the factorial fact comma n minus 1. Then set fact equal to n star fact. Fine. Now let us take the example of same 3 again. So now initial value of fact will be equal to 1, n will be equal to 3. If n equal to 0, condition fails. I will go to the second line. In the second line, we are making the call again. Fact is 1 multiplied with a 2. Again we go there. Again 2 is not equal to 0. Again we come. Now it will be 2. Fact is same 1 comma n minus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. Again we fail. Again we go back. Then next 1 equal to 0. Condition fail. Again we come to the line number 2. What happens in the line number 2? Now 1 comma 0. So now the condition is true. Now we return to the line number 3. Line number 3, for which call we are returning a fact value is 1, n value is 1 minus 1, that will be equal to 0. So now we come to the line number 3. In the line number 3, n star fact. So what is the n value over there? That will be equal to 1. So 1 into 1, that will be stored. Again we will go to the previous call which was done with the value of n will be equal to 2. Now in that case what happens? 2 into 1, that will be 2 will be returned set to the fact. Again the next call. Next was for the 3. 3 into 2, that will be equal to 6. Now we done all the calls for the factorial, then we return from the function. This is how the recursive function works. So in the recursive function, the main it is an application of a stack, wherein the function call will be stored in the stack. This is how the recursive functions work. The references for these presentations are from the textbooks, that is Sartaj Sahani and Ellis Horowitz from the textbook Fundamentals of Data Structures, and the data structures from the Sham Outline series, that is a revised first edition. Thank you.